So last week we ended on a cliffhanger, and this week we are back in the 70s. Welcome to Table Talk. Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and this is this week's Table Talk. If you're one of my new subscribers, a massive welcome to the channel. And if you've not come across a Table Talk video before, what we do is we talk about what happened last week, what's been going on in the background behind the channel, what's coming up in the future, what's been happening on the modelling desk, and then sometimes we talk about all sorts of other things. Like this week, I managed to get tickets to go and see The Warning with my two daughters, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. So we ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm afraid gonna have to keep you hanging on that cliff just a little bit longer. Right, let's deal with what happened last week. So first things first, I need to make an apology. In last week's Table Talk video, I mentioned that Airfix were giving away a kit if you spent 30 quid. What I didn't know was that had ended the day before I announced it. So I got the announcement email on the Friday and I went and made a purchase. And what it said in the email was, if you made a purchase, then the kit would be added on at the checkout. So what it didn't say was this offer ends on any particular date, or it just runs for a week, or for one day only, or anything like that. Airfix completely didn't say when this finished, and you don't expect an offer to run for just a day. But I got the email on the Friday, and by all accounts, on the Saturday, the offer was no longer live. So I don't know whether that's because they cleared all the kits really quickly or what. But by the time I was announcing it on my Table Talk video and you guys were seeing it, that offer had already ended. So that's a bit naughty by Airfix, and it's made me look silly. So I can only apologise for that, to be honest. So yeah. Not really my fault, but I still feel bad about that. But that's where we go. So, what happened on Monday? Well, we kicked off Monday with a little deep dive into rigging. So, it's really aimed at those people that have not watched the Go to Build. And, you know, rigging with fishing wire or fishing line is very simple. It's not difficult. And I think it was really helpful for some people. It got a lot of nice comments. I'm sure it's one of those videos that over time will get quite a lot of views. So one of my biggest videos is actually a very short, few minute long video on how to unglue parts you've glued together with liquid poly, and I get comments pretty much every week on that from people who've just watched it, come across it, and that often gets people into the channel, which is lovely. So I suspect it's one of those videos that people will use for reference when they come to rig an aeroplane for the first time. Now, a couple of people asked about rigging ships. I'm sure I've touched on rigging ships when I did the Megami build, so by all means check that out, but I haven't done a standalone video on how to rig ships. For a start, there's different methods depending on what sort of rigging you're doing, whether you're doing it between masts or whether you're doing it between masts and yards, or whether they're the signal lines or they're tensioning guide ropes for funnels. They all sort of have slightly different approaches, sometimes different materials depending on your scale. So it's a bit more of a minefield, ship rigging, to be honest. But I am intending to fully rig the Scharnhorst. So we'll have an opportunity there to do some standalone videos out of the main videos that we do for the Scharnhorst build. So that's sort of the intention, and obviously that'll be towards the back end of the build, and I suspect the build is a couple of years, maybe 18 months if we're really lucky. So it'll be a little bit of time before I do anything specific on rigging. But if you've got questions, particular questions, you can always drop me an email, modelkitstuff@gmail.com, and I'm happy to answer them. If I don't answer you straight away, don't worry. I've checked my emails and do my model kit stuff emails a couple of times a week. It's just a matter of managing time. So I might not get back to you straight away, but I should get back to you in a couple of days. So yeah, there you go. That's Monday, and I think that will be a video that just continues to grow. And then on Wednesday, we did first impressions, the Armour Hobby PZL C2, C3, I can't remember now. But a beautiful little kit, all on one sprue, with some bits and pieces in there, and very, very, very nice. And I suspect perhaps a bit more of a challenging build than it looks, because, you know, although you've got it on one sprue, it's a bit deceiving. There's a lot of parts in there, you know, a lot of small parts, a lot of detail parts, and quite a bit of detail painting and stuff. So, and it all depends on how it goes together. And I watched a video of someone putting it together, and their sort of their conclusions, and they seem to struggle a little bit around the wheels, but you don't know yourself until you get stuck into it. Everyone's build ends up being a little bit unique, because we end up, you know, our tolerances for putting it together can be different, and so our experiences can be different, and sometimes the precision of the moulding on the sprue that you got is different. So there's all sorts of things there that could go wrong or may not. So yeah, and then so that's the two usual videos. In between there, much to everyone's surprise, because I didn't announce it last week, and I didn't announce it last week because I wasn't 100% sure I was going to be able to get it out in time, so I kept it on the low. But we launched the Endeavour. Now, for those of you who might have missed it and missed the Amati box opening, especially if you're new to the channel, this is an Amati kit. So Amati make wooden ships. I do wooden ships as well as plastic. This one's slightly different, as it has a plastic hull. So the most difficult part of making a wooden model ship is the planking of the hull, because you've got to bend it, you've got to shape it, and you've got to form it and all that sort of stuff. It's time consuming. Some of the methods of doing it are time consuming, although I have got videos on how to do it quicker. But ultimately, once you've got past planking the hull, the rest of it is fairly straightforward. I'm not saying it's not time consuming, because rigging can be very time consuming, particularly doing the shrouds. But once you've got past the hull bit, it gets a lot more fun, and you get rewards for everything you've done, and it starts really looking good. Whereas the planking of the hull can be a bit of a slog, and it puts people off doing it. And truth be known, the plastic hull means you can get straight to the fun bit. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the video one step at a time. So for every video will be every step. There's 22 steps. There'll be 22 videos. I might do an additional full reveal video as the 23rd one, and conclusions and sum up and so on. But don't know. We'll have to see. And I don't know the frequency of them coming out. So it depends. Some of the steps are very, very quick. So the next video, building the stand that it goes on, will be a very quick video. When we come to lay the deck planking, that'll be a much longer video, and so on, and possibly, you know, some of these videos will be considerably longer than other videos, which will be quite short. But that's the intention, one step per video. So anyone who's building the kit can go, right, okay, I can watch the video for step one and know that I've not got to then pause it because I might have missed it. And I'm going to do it in the sequence of the instructions-ish. because the next video is actually the last step. Because I want to build the stand before I've finished building the model, which doesn't really make sense, does it? You've got this model there with all the rigging on and a great big, you know, 1/2 meter long mast. Oh, and now I need to put it on something. So yeah, so we're doing the last step next. That's the next video. I won't be putting it out next week. I've already recorded it, but I want to give it an every other week space at least, because it gives me an opportunity to make sure that the videos go out with a degree of regularity. So it may be that we have pauses bigger than that, but you know, the planking of the deck might take me 2 or 3 weekends, because I'm only doing it on a Saturday morning when I've got time. So, you know, if it ends up being 5 hours work, that's 3 weekends. If it's 2 hours work, that's 1 weekend. So it all depends. So the spaces might not be quite as even as they could be, but we'll see. I'm not going to get wound up about it, because as we get close to Christmas, there's a danger of me getting burnout again, and I don't want to do that. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute when we're talking about what's coming up. So that gets us then to Thursday. Thursday, we have a little video, which actually I didn't create. Jeff Donahue created it. It was Jeff that had largely, it was either Jeff or Peter, I can't remember, that I think they sort of, one of them suggested it and the other one agreed, and they both launched it. It might be what happened, or they agreed amongst themselves they wanted to do it and then they launched it, something like that. But a few of us built this model, and then when we finished the task, Jeff made a little video including everyone's models, and then we put it out there. So Jeff shared the video with everyone that had been involved at the end and said, you know, you can put that up on your channel, which I duly did. So that meant that we had a video on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then came Friday, and of course we have the build video. So you had 6 videos this week, including this one. So the last of the ferret. So the week before we'd done last of the goater. This week we'd done last of the ferret. Yeah, like I say, end of a sort of a build period, which means all new stuff coming along-ish, because we've still got Queen Mary 2, which we'll be revisiting in a moment. But yeah, so ferret, last of the ferret, great little model. It's sold out its first production run, so it's showing us out of stock at the moment. I'm guessing other stores may still have stock, but Airfix is in the process of restocking currently, is my understanding. So yeah, a lovely little model. It's been very popular, quite rightly so. It's not without its little bit of fit challenges here and there, not because the parts don't go together, but because the way that some of the parts, like the lamps, lock together is not as positive as it could be. So there is an opportunity, if you're sloppy, to not seat it correctly. So there is a little bit of carefulness required. But yeah, so that's that done, and then that gets us back to Table Talk. And I've said this is a special edition, and it is, and it's a special edition because of what's in this box. So I was born in 1970, and for me the 70s is the best decade. It's the decade that brought us Buck Rogers, it brought us Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Logan's Run, Planet of the Apes. It was just an amazing decade for sci-fi, and I think 2001 A Space Odyssey was on at the pictures when I was born. So a phenomenal decade for sci-fi. And you know, we just landed on the moon, and everyone was focused on what's happening in the stars. And although we'd had programs like Star Trek and Doctor Who had been around for years, there was this new surge of what might be possible from beyond the stars, and some really nice sci-fi storytelling, and some of my favourite films, even some of the futuristic films like Westworld, brilliant film, much better than the remake series they've made recently. The original film, absolutely lovely. Yul Brynner, you'll never have a better actor for an android than Yul Brynner, honestly. So yeah, and I love Logan's Run as the series. I even loved the Planet of the Apes series, which was a bit naff when you watch it now. It was a bit naff. And of course, in the UK, I don't know about other countries, we had Blake 7, which, was phenomenal. We even had 2 seasons of something called The Tripods, although that might have been in the 80s. And they never made the 3rd series. And I waited for years for that to come out, and they never made it. And it was sort of loosely based on War of the Worlds. But yeah, sci-fi was always a big thing. But the best sci-fi program of all time is Space 1999. It's a fact. Don't put in the comments, well, I don't agree because you'd just be wrong. Space 1999, the best program of all time when it comes to sci-fi. And at the time, I understand it was, if not the most expensive, certainly one of the most expensive series to make. It was Jerry Anderson, of course. He had huge budget, and the 2 series, I think is it 24 episodes a series, something like that. I don't remember. But it was the stuff of fantasy, and it was the stuff of nightmares. And the first series was very sort of reflective and focused on what's possible and the meaning of life and all that sort of stuff. And there was a lot of hope in the first series, and a lot of scientific fact, and dealing with things from a human perspective. But the second series, it just got reworked. So the first series had come out of the sort of the cancellation of UFO. The second series was, yeah, we like it, but it's not got enough action. So it was, second series was all let's kill monsters, and some characters disappeared for no reason at all. The command center had a reorganization and became a lot smaller for no reason at all. And then we got some new characters like the Videshi character, who was very strange. He was sort of like Commander Koenig's number 2, but was always challenging him, a bit like Alan Carter, the pilot, who was, he was the number 1 pilot. Yeah, he constantly disagreed with him. You wouldn't have that in real life. But as a kid, it made such good viewing. I mean, Maya the Metamorph. I remember going out. It completely changed the way children played, because when we used to play war films and sci-fi films and all that stuff we were watching on TV, that then went into the playground or the front garden or wherever we were playing. And when you died, when you were playing, you were dead, and you had to come back as a different character to be able to carry on playing. But that stopped. The second series, which I think was 1975, so I'd have been 5, that stopped. Right, I've killed you. No, I've turned into a tiger and I've eaten you. It was just brilliant. Space 1999, brilliant. And there was a plan to remake it as a movie not so long ago, and that seemed to get scrapped, unfortunately. It didn't get off the ground too far. But of course, the most iconic thing of Space 1999 is not the how they moved when they had no gravity, which was brilliant, and it wasn't all the characters. It wasn't the episodes like was it called Dragon's Den, something like that? The great big monster with a glass eye with all these tentacles. It was terrifying. I had nightmares, and it would suck you in. It would suck all your flesh off your bones and then deliver your bones back out as a complete skeleton covered in cobwebs. I mean, who can think of a worse death than that? I think it was called Dragon's Domain. And it was terrifying. And I rewatch them from time to time, the Space 1999 programs. Probably my favourite TV series of all time, if I thought about it and was honest. But the most iconic thing that came out of Space 1999 was the Eagle. So that came in different forms. You got the Transporter, you got the Freighter, and then the Transporter had different things because the centre pod was interchangeable. Oh, I had the Corgi toy as a kid. Me and my brother, we both got one for Christmas. His was metallic green with the white Transporter version. Mine was metallic blue and was the Freighter version. And I loved the Freighter version because it had a little winch with a magnet on the end, and I had these little nuclear waste bins that I could pick up with the magnet and fly around with them. It was brilliant. But I was a bit envious of my brother having the Transporter version because that was the one you saw the most on the TV show. I believe in some countries there was a white version which was the Transporter, and it actually looked like the thing from the show, but I was with metallic blue and metallic green, which looked nothing like the show, and it was a bit disappointing. So even then, at whatever age I got that, that must have been 75, 76, something like that. I would have got those. I remember getting them for Christmas. So even then, I was a bit of a rivet counter. And I was only just starting my modelling career at that point. So yeah, that's the most iconic thing. And for a long time, there was the 172 version kits of it. And I was going to say they were all right. They were all right, but they weren't brilliant. And there was a lot of errors and they were a bit basic. But when that's all you've got, that's all you've got. And I certainly made a couple of them over the years. But then not so long ago, they relaunched some of the Space 1999 stuff in much bigger scales. So let's talk about what's in the box. So I have been after one of these for quite some time, but I've always considered them silly money because of the manufacturer of them. But actually they get a lot of good press, these kits. And I'd sort of got over myself and I'd started looking for one, but the price since they've been released has gone up and gone up and gone up. And in fact, I saw one of these at Telford and it was a couple of pounds shy of 200 quid, which is ridiculous. You can certainly get them a lot cheaper than that. You have to shop around. And then, you know, on places like eBay, you're always getting outbid for them. So I've been after one for a while. And what happened was we were talking about programs, and including sci-fi programs, on one of my Fridays when there's live chat along with the build video, and there's loads of subscribers in there, and we're talking away. And I was asked if there was anything particular I was looking for from Telford, and I mentioned this. I said I was looking for one, and then I got an email. So a number of the subscribers, if you're in the Friday chat regularly, will know Wendy. So Wendy dropped me an email saying, look, I've got two. If you want one, you can have one. So this is a gift from the very lovely Wendy. I have a lot of lovely subscribers. It's not the first time I've had a gift. And we'll be talking a bit more about the lovely people in the hobby that happen to be my subscribers a little bit later. But Wendy has sent me this as a gift. And Wendy, you don't know how excited I was to get this because it's been on my hit list for quite some time now. And as you've just gathered, I'm a massive fan of the show. I used to walk around with a little Commander Koenig badge on everywhere I went for years. In fact, at Blackpool, there was a science fiction museum, and I seem to remember the entrance door was the TARDIS, and you walked through the door of the TARDIS to get into the museum, and they had some of the original models from Space 99 on display, including the full-length Eagle Freighter suspended there. And I stood there for ages, and my dad got a bit, come on, you know, and I just wanted to look at it because it was brilliant. So in here, So welcome to the 22-inch long Space 1999 Eagle Transporter from MPC. Now, I always think about MPC as like car model manufacturers, and some of those car models are a little bit rough and ready, but this looks really nice, and other people that I've seen build it have had nothing but good words for it. I believe it might sit a little bit high on that, but we'll have a look at that when we build it. But yeah, we have this. So Wendy, it's a massive thank you. Now, to go with it, I've got additional decals and I've got additional paint masks. You can get characters for it, but there is nothing inside there. And you can get those sort of octagonal boxes, storage boxes for it. So I was wondering about maybe getting some and leaving the glass at the back empty, so you can see in there, because there is 2 storage areas at the back end of there anyway, and in the real set, and then blackening that. You can get a resin corridor that goes down there, so you can have open up the door and look down the corridor if you wish. But I think you're not going to see much from there. There is a lighting kit. It's quite expensive, and it illuminates the inside of there, and it has a couple of landing lights on the front of the 2 front pods. But that is all, and there's not much you can see through there because the windows are quite small. It has a real 70s feel to it, doesn't it? And looks like the Apollo landing module windows. So the original TV model had 2 figures in there on seats that were suspended and nothing else. The inside of the Eagle is a set, and when you see it in the show, it's always filmed from the same 2 angles. Forward on, so you can see 2 pilots, or side on, so you can see them next to each other, always the same side. So this has got no detail inside other than the 2 pilots. The pilots apparently are wrong, and you can get resin replacements that are only 15 quid. So I'll probably do that. I'm still debating whether I'm going to get the lighting kit. And that's all we'll throw at it, because at the end of the day, what you're looking at is the outside. But it does have proper springs, so it's got sprung suspension. You can get for 100 quid, something like that. You can get metal turned exhaust, but to be honest, it's almost impossible to get them in the UK. And when you can, your only way of getting them is really through eBay, and it's silly money plus silly shipping from the States. So that's not going to happen. So that gives me a nice challenge on how we get nice chromed exhausts on there. But yeah, I am so excited to build this, and I'm telling you now, without shadow of a doubt, I want to try and get this on the bench next year at some point. So really excited about this. It's absolutely packed in the box. I have had a look. I couldn't not. So yeah, Wendy, thank you very much. We will be seeing this built on the channel. So yeah, now you know that's the end of the cliffhanger. So in other news, and I think I might have mentioned this last week, we added this to the stash. Now, I've built one of these before. In fact, it was my first 1/48 scale aircraft, possibly for 20 years when I built this. And it builds up really nicely. And I did it in the sort of that scheme, the grey and not quite sure what you describe, that slightly beige colour. But I really like this release in the dark blue, sort of American Pacific sort of looking colours, and it just looks really nice. So I quite fancy doing it in that scheme, and I didn't build it on the channel, so it gives me an opportunity to build it on the channel. It's a lovely little kit. It's a skill level 2, so we'll be doing a first impressions of that and chucking that out at some point soon as well. So that's a nice kit. I also ordered something that I've never done anything like it, and it's quite big. It's got 1,400 parts in it, and it's a large artillery piece. I haven't got any artillery pieces in my stash that I can think of. And I've been looking for, when I was at Telford, I was looking for something that would be technically challenging to build, lots of parts. And I suppose the most technically challenging build, putting the Gota to one side, I've done in recent years was the Tacom Hanomag 100 with the V2 rocket and launcher. So that was quite technical build, really fun build to do. And I was looking for something a bit like that, and I didn't really see anything that sort of grabbed me at Telford in that way. So I came back still with that itch needing to be scratched. So I had a look around, and we've got on order this German artillery piece. So it's not the massive one like Nigel's got, but it's pretty big. It's on rails, and it comes with this set of rails. A few people have done one. This is the most expensive one. It's 120, 150 quid, something like that. And it looks quite a complex build. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully I can show you that next week when it should have turned up. The Zukimura Focke-Wulf that has been on pre-order and I was expecting out this autumn, looks like it's been pushed back to 2024 now from some stuff I saw on the internet, which is a bit disappointing. But the Fairy Gannet, as I record this on the Friday, the Fairy Gannet was released yesterday and became available for you to buy from the Airfix website or your chosen store as of yesterday. Mine's on pre-order. The delivery times are a little bit extended at the moment because of Christmas. They're very busy, which is great. It's great to know that Airfix are busy. And so in the next 3 to 5 days, I should have that landing. So quite possibly next week's plan for first impressions might change. So before we talk about the week ahead, let's talk about any other news. The only other thing is that if you remember last week, I was saying that I dropped Airfix a line after talking to them at the show, and I haven't had a response. So I don't know, maybe you should all write to Airfix and ask why model kit stuff's not getting involved with Airfix. But yeah, a bit disappointed I've not had a response. Maybe he's on holiday. Who knows? But yeah, I thought I might get at least a courteous email to say, yeah, got your email. We'll get back to you or something. But nothing. Anyway, that I think covers everything in the news. So let's have a look at what happened on the model bench last weekend. So last weekend we managed to do a bit of all sorts of stuff, and we'd previously primed this, and I wanted to get the underside done. So what we did, I've not painted it yellow, it's now masked off. What we did is we painted the underside in the lower colour. You can just see, if I can get that on camera, you can just see some overspray. And then we masked off. So whilst the Friday video was running, I'm chatting to people, I was also doing some fairly serious masking. So that's ready this weekend. So this weekend is focused on the Beaufort, and we're going to be painting the top coats on. And yeah, so hopefully we're at that funny stage with this. We've got to put paint down, let it dry, and then gloss coat it, and then mask it off, and then put the camouflage pattern on. So there's sort of big periods of breaks. I've got other things to paint, the wheels, and we can build up the turret and stuff. So I'll be focused on this on the Sunday, and yeah, it's going together really nicely, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, we'll see how far we get on with that this weekend. But that's what we did last weekend. We got the underside painted and masked up ready for this weekend. So on the Endeavour, we got her to the point where we can fit the false deck, which is the next step, and that's going to be a fairly short video if you follow just the steps, but we're going to do something additional as well. So yeah, so that's where we're up to. I'm sort of one video ahead, and I'd like to get some more, and perhaps over Christmas when we've got more modelling time, we might get a little bit more ahead on this, and then we can have a regular every 2 weeks video. But that's where we are. It's coming together really nicely. So far, so good. We also did quite a bit of work on the Queen Mary 2, so let me get you a bit closer so you can see what we did. So we got the last decals on. Let's give her the nameplate there, and then towards the back we got the Cunard logo on and the black stripes and what have you. So that was done. We've done the windbreaks have gone in on the top deck there, and you can see all the decals on all the decals on the radomes have gone on, and then photo etching at the back. So some of these had been bent but weren't glued in, so some of the railings got glued in this weekend. The jackstaff at the back there. The light structures went on. These light structures went on. You can see they're not painted up yet. And the same with these little ladders at the back. So the ladders there, the platform is the only bit of the original kit part left. So we've removed the plastic ladders and put A-bar photo etching, which has made a huge difference to it. So yeah, that is where we're up to on that. We won't be doing Queen Mary 2 this weekend. We're going to be focused on the Beaufighter. But if in between painting I need something to do, we can always hop onto this, because there's quite a bit of photo etch yet to be added around this pool area. And then that's the main ship done. Barring adding things like deck chairs and stuff. So my next step is to finish the photo etch in this area and then get it all painted, and then we can populate it with things that aren't fittings effectively. Look at all the they're not quite security cameras. They're, I believe they used to project films on there. I don't know that they still do that, but yeah. Right, so anyway, that's where we are with Queen Mary 2. So what's coming up in the week ahead? That largely depends on when I take delivery of the Ferry Gannet. So I suspect I should get that probably Tuesday, Wednesday. So I've got two options if that happens. I can either film the first impressions ready for the following week, which means every man and his dog will have got them out, and no one will be interested in seeing my video because they've seen it. Well, less people will be interested is a better comment, isn't it? Or I could do a live stream. I could do a first impressions live stream. I've done a few before. They generally have gone okay. It's not quite the same as doing the proper thing, but they are quite fun to do. So we might do a live stream on Wednesday and Wednesday night rather than the video coming out on the morning. So if you don't see a first impressions video at 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning, you know that there's a live stream coming, so keep your eyes out for that. If it comes Monday, I may well have got it recorded and loaded up, and it'll go out as a normal first impressions. In which case, we might do a live stream on Wednesday anyway, and just ask people what they thought of the first impressions video and the Ferry Gannet. So those of you who didn't get to Telford and didn't get a chance to have a look at it, and if it is your first impression of the kit, it'd be interesting to know people's views. So that's sort of what I think might happen on Wednesday. Monday we've got a tool review. The tool's called the Gripper. It's an Amati tool. I've had one for years. You've seen me using it recently on the Go to Build. So I talk about that. So it's a great little tool, actually, really handy tool. And those of you that have seen me with, have I got it on my desk? No, I haven't. The little metal clamp vise, which has got the pegs in. I got the gripper tool way before that, and I bought that because it looked like the gripper tool, and it was smaller, so it gave me some other options. So yeah, don't miss the gripper on Monday. Wednesday, if the gannet hasn't turned up and I still don't have it, then we're going to be looking at a tank from Hobby Boss on Wednesday. Otherwise, I'll be pushing that back a week, and we'll do the gannet as we've talked about. Then Friday, we've got the first part of the Beaufort build. Beaufort. I keep mixing up. I don't know why. Whatever it is, you just saw it. You'll see the first build diary for that, and then we're back to table talk. So a few less videos this week because I won't put out an endurance video until the following week. That's where we are now. I've had one or two questions about what's happening with Fly since the Endeavour went out, and as always, I encourage people to watch Table Talk so you know what's going on. Reaching to the converted because you're already watching it, but that's my standard answer. I tell you in here. So Fly is parked until we get endurance done, and then Fly will be back on my Saturday slot. So my building weekend looks like this. Friday, I'm probably going to be doing me Christmas build while the video's running, so that's painting those two buildings. I have had confirmation from the people I've bought the railway base from that they should ship it to me at some point this week, although I've not seen any evidence that they've done that, but that's what they told me last week. They're very busy, apparently. So that's 4 weeks now they've had the order. And I had to chase them to get an understanding of when it might be delivered. So not dead pleased with the customer service there. And then, so that is Friday, the Christmas build. Then Saturday morning will be endurance, possibly, although it's looking like I've got quite a busy Saturday. Daisy and me are going to go and see the film Napoleon. We're both looking forward to that. So that's cool. And then on Sunday, we'll be focused on the aircraft build. So that's sort of my building weekend covered off. And I think that covers everything. Oh, no, I have some exciting news. So I've managed to get tickets for a concert for April next year. I'm really excited about it because I've been looking forward to seeing these people live and never have. And my two daughters, both Alice and Daisy, are coming with me. They're also excited because they love the band. The band is called The Warning. So if you like rock music, I did post on my page in the community post thing, you'll see a video of their work. It's basically three sisters who, I don't know why I've got four fingers up, there's only three of them, three sisters who, as kids, formed a band, and they did a cover of Enter Sandman from Metallica, and then they went on holiday, and their dad posted it up, and they went on holiday, and it got something like 1 million views. It went viral while they were on holiday. And when they came back, they got quite a bit of attention. There was a chat show in the States called, I think it's called Ellen, and they went on there, and the show sponsored them to get some formal music lessons, and then they started. They've been writing their own music and putting it out, and they've been managing themselves. And then that all sort of culminated when Metallica brought out something called The Blacklist, which was a double album of lots of other bands who did covers of their songs. And the very first track was The Warning doing their version of Enter Sandman with Alicia Cara, I think her name is. And it's beautiful, beautiful reorganisation of the Enter Sandman song. They are very talented, largely inspired by the band Muse, who they have been the warm-up act for Muse now a few times a couple of times in Mexico. They've been the warm-up act for the Foo Fighters. They came to UK for the first time last year. They were supposed to come earlier but cancelled because of the pandemic. and I didn't get to see them because they were a support act for another band, and it's quite expensive to get to see them, and they were on first. This time, they're the headline act. They're the people playing. So they're coming to the Manchester Academy, which is not too far away from me. So me and the girls are going to go and see them in April. I'm dead excited. If you like rock music and you've never heard of them, go and check out the little post I put in there, or Google The Warning Rock Band, and you can find out everything there is to know. There's videos on YouTube. So best videos to look out for are Choke, Evolve, Disciple. Those three will give you, and more, which is their most recent. So those four will give you a good feel for the band. Anyway, enough about that. We're a modelling channel, not a music channel. I think that is it for news and what's going on. So that leaves me with special people. So the world is full of special people, and the modelling hobby has some of the kindest, most generous people you can find. And this is a short list of some of them who, during the course of the last week, supported the channel. So this channel is self-funded, and any money that is generated by the channel goes into the channel. It doesn't come to me. I don't spend it on the rent or anything like that. It goes into the channel so we can get beautiful kits to review, and any support is really appreciated and keeps the channel running. So of course I have to start with a massive thank you to Wendy, because that's going to give us not just a first impressions video, but a series of build videos that I think people will enjoy almost as much as me, because I'm going to enjoy it a lot. And yeah, really cool. So Wendy, a massive thank you once again. Now, ways you can support the channel. If you can't afford to donate money, that's absolutely fine. Hit the like button, put a comment, and that helps the channel, helps the algorithm. More people see it, more people subscribe. That generates more advert funds, which comes into the channel. So thank you for that. If you can afford to donate and you wish to, and you want to support the channel, I don't do membership, Patreon, buy me a coffee, or any of those things. So you've got two ways you can give money to me. You can either use the super thanks and super chat functions. Super thanks at the bottom of the videos, super chat at the bottom of live chat feeds. And I will get 60% of what you put in there. YouTube takes the other 40%. Or you can PayPal me, in which case the channel gets 100% of what you wanted to donate. You can make a payment to my PayPal account, which is paypal.me/JasonPort. I will try and remember to put a link in, but I don't always remember. And then the channel will get 100% of those funds. So that's how you can do that. And this week's special people, if you donate to the channel, I will give you a shout out in Table Talk. So Plastic Monkey, who has a channel, please check him out. Michael Drongas, James Carnahan, really lovely. Thank you very much, gents. Balance Transfer. Oh no, that's not a name. That's something else. I'm reading off a spreadsheet. Okay, and then Dominic, I'm not sure how I'm going to pronounce this, because being dyslexic, it can go anywhere. Bieler? Not sure. Dominic Bieler. Captain Charlemagne, who also has a channel, focuses on shipbuilding. Check that out. So you guys, thank you very much for the support of the channel. It's massively appreciated. This week we also got the payment from YouTube for the adverts revenue, and it was my largest to date, which was really nice. Always a bit busier in the winter. People come back to modelling, and after a break in the summer when they've been doing other things. So we always get a few more subscribers per week, and a few more views of the video. So that's really helpful as well. So we're slowly recovering the balance of funds for the channel post Telford. But we'll have to see. We've got a couple of pre-orders yet to arrive, which are both looking like next year now. and we've got the order coming, which should come for next week. So we've got 2 kits that we might be talking about in next week's Table Talk. Yeah, so as always, lots going on. I think that probably covers us for this week. I can't think of anything else to talk about. Yeah, so that's what's going on in the week ahead, and yeah, it's all looking good. It's all coming together nicely. I'm starting to gear up now for December. I'm starting to load up my first videos for the month of December, so I think I've done the first week of December. So as we get to Christmas, I'll be taking a break. Between Christmas and New Year, I won't be doing any videos. We won't do the Table Talk. I'm just going to be having a chill out so that I don't get burnout. Doesn't mean I won't be modelling, because that's part of my relaxing time. Sometimes it's not. Yeah, so there won't be any videos between Christmas and New Year, but I've got some fun stuff coming up, like the gag reel, which I've saved all the things that didn't quite go well when I was recording, and we're going to string them all together so you can have some festive laughs at me. And then, of course, we've got the subscriber showcase coming up. So please, if you've got any pictures, I'm starting to receive some now. If you've got any pictures of models, up to 3 pictures of a model that you built this year and you'd like to share with my fellow subscribers, then please do drop me an email at modelkitstuff@gmail.com and give me the 3 pictures and your name as you'd like to see it displayed on the video. So if you're a channel, by all means do that. You know, if you're a channel that's bigger than mine, doesn't matter. Happy to share yours. Tell me whether you want the channel name up or your name up or whatever. Obviously nothing offensive, because we don't do offensive on this channel. I don't do profanity and stuff like that, because there are younger people that watch the channel, and you know, there's no need for it. In fact, I tend to not watch channels that have a lot of swearing on, even if they're really, really good modelers. Just puts me off. So there we go. That's us done for another week. I hope that was entertaining. You enjoy your coffee and your breakfast while you're watching the video, wherever you are in the world, from New York to Australia to the Cotswolds. Thank you very much. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.